what up, though? Another episode of Trendy Ass Podcast. We back at it. Hey. First off, I want to shout out to everybody. We're going to go with the sponsors again. Shout out to Al Wassam, Queens of Detroit, Jay Moore, Deck Guys. Let's go. All right, so we got a special episode today. We're with the famous Commander Brown, Tactical Urban Survival Training. It's always a tongue twist for me. But this episode is special to me because it's not just about Commander Brown being a viral sensation. It's about the work, the time, the effort that he has established and put in the community to help build it up and do something positive for people. So for this one, we all gonna have to give a hand pause for Commander Brown.
Yeah.
What's poppin'?
Thank you.
For real.
Great to be here, man.
That's an honor.
Appreciate it. Yeah, this is great. Blessed through my family,
through
Yamro Fields, Falcon 1. Back in the day, he was one of the first team members. Also a guy I grew up with in Ann Arbor. The mean streets of Ann Arbor, you know, A2.
Mean streets.
Oh, I just seen that viral video about
dropping
that.
bodies.
Oh, man.
Bodies.
That's real, Ace Deuce.
The only gangs in Ann Arbor are lacrosse and soccer.
Don't forget about the Kappas on the U of M. On the U of M.
I don't know what y'all talking about. I actually went to the first 420 Hemp Fest in Ann Arbor.
They'd be so live.
And it was the livest I've ever been
like
to.
1934,
First of all,
right?
No, this was
1934.
this is 86.
Okay, first of all, in Ann Arbor, every year they have an event where the people take off their clothes and run naked, smoking
naked
marijuana,
run.
and nobody ever
Wait, I
gets
didn't know the
arrested.
smoking weed
man.
part.
Okay, so I came to Detroit.
Trash.
Sign me up. No, I was playing.
And when I came to Detroit, they were like, "Hey, that's illegal to have any weed." I was like, "Wait,
We do it in Ann Arbor every year.
Ann Arbor, they
that's
run
where I
around
learned.
naked with weed. Nobody gets arrested."
It's
Here.
funny because when I seen that guy, and he was talking about how tough. Like I know, in his defense, Ann Arbor do have some different parts.
Pine Lake,
Pine Lake. I actually
Airwood.
true story. I
I
actually
had Pine Lake weed.
Yes.
Because he worked at Joe Louis Arena and he was selling them $50 an ounce.
Ooh.
I was the man up in
Hold
there.
on.
Let me tell you something. I loved it. It was a pine taste.
I believe that.
I wish I could get it again.
But man, shout out to Ann Arbor. You know what I'm saying? Y'all doing y'all thing.
They on opioid now.
Hey,
Fentanyl. They on
Great
the
place to
heavy
grow up, man. Great place to grow up.
They say it's one of the richest cities in Michigan, if I'm not correct. If I'm correct.
Traverse
shit. They
City.
got top-notch powder and dope over there. That's where
Man,
everybody
them college
go.
kids, them doctors, the lawyers, U of M.
You got gangs walking down the street, bald-headed hippies selling books.
Wow, that's crazy.
yeah.
It's
And they
real.
got islands and they got condominiums. And when there was an investigation back in early 90s, it led back to this 88 pounds of coke in his van.
Oh,
And next thing you know, it led to U of M and some islands and some condos and some fraternities. And then all of a sudden it shut down.
See?
So Ann Arbor
Whole
got history
investigation.
behind it.
Oh, yeah, big history,
Oh,
man.
the United States got history behind it.
Come on now. Who
So-
played for, like, the Michigan Wolverines back in the 80s? Think about it.
I'm gonna go to
Tim the Two Man.
Irvin Magic Johnson. That's when Ann Arbor was making the most money, actually, when Michigan was playing Michigan State. Big money, straight up
so
right
we
there on
we
that route.
talking Michigan Wolverines.
Yeah.
I got to give a shout out to my uncle, Michael Taylor, one of the first black quarterbacks with the that actually got the Rose Bowl championship.
Go ahead.
So shout out to my uncle Michael Taylor.
Shout
Ann
out,
Arbor.
Unc.
Yeah.
Bringing over that weight.
My cousin Will Johnson is on the team right now.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Will Johnson's nationally known for
And they
his
just got
running back.
another championship this year.
Yeah, he's
Come on now, Roy Tarpley.
Buffs.
Back in the day.
Buffs campaign. Will Johnson has a Buffs campaign.
Yeah, that's hey,
See, I remember the dope game back in Ann Arbor, man. Like,
That's crazy.
It was so
That's just
great.
normal there. They get what they sell in Detroit. They give away to friends in Ann Arbor. You just give it to people.
You be at a party and you be high for free.
yes,
Just see
yeah, it's
people
free.
laid out everywhere.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
Try to find a professor who doesn't smoke weed. That's impossible.
now you look at Ann Arbor and it ain't so easy to do that no more.
Oh, it is.
They locking the
100%.
door.
On people that are not from Ann Arbor. They locked you out.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, man. They locking their front screen door now. I remember
That's
when
because
you
dudes from
walking
Detroit would
anybody
come
out.
to Ann Arbor, hang out, and have all the prettiest girls.
Exactly.
That's why
Come here.
you could be a nerd in Detroit. You show up at Briarwood Mall, and you've had all
Now
the
you
hottest
fresh.
women. They'll be like,
Yeah.
"Oh my God, he's from Detroit." Man, he can be a nerd.
That's real. It was known to us.
Turned the Family Dollar up in that.
When we was younger, they always told us Ann Arbor got the prettiest girls. Huron, Pioneer. So when we was young, we'd come right down.
But they fighting though.
Yeah.
Y'all got the fighters down the way. I mean, like Inkster don't like Ypsilanti. Ypsilanti don't like Ann Arbor. And Belleville is in the middle of all.
Well, Belleville, when I lived there, you couldn't even drive through Belleville.
Everybody.
You were not allowed to drive there. You couldn't hang out there. Matter of fact, there was nobody, there was no reason to go there except your cousin.
Exactly.
So how did you get to the point to where you said, I wanted to be more tactical than the next person?
But we got to take it back. Before we go there, let's go to history. So I used to hear stories about you. I just never put two and two together. So I'm going to be honest. I used to see the viral videos. And but see, I never was like everybody else where it was like, is this real? Like I could tell, from his stance, how you spoke. I'm like, nah, bro, the real deal. So then, which made it sweeter, I started, my uncle, it's my first cousin, but it's like my uncle. He'd tell me all these stories from when he was security at River Rock and his commander and all this, and, the stabbings and shootings, and I was just like, he always tell me a story, and I'd be hyped up like, yo, that's crazy. 15 years later, I never knew this is exactly who he was talking about, saved his life on many occasions.
Oh, that's
so
cool. Then
when I put that two together, I said, y'all done lost y'all mind. I was online going to battle with people over here like, you crazy, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about.
See, y'all always knew it was legit, but it's just funny though when they be doing it. Then in the next clip they in heaven, like what the fuck?
That's where without that, no one would know about us. I mean, they had to do that, and so even right now, I run into people. I mean, I think most people know now, but when I was in LA, a lot of people didn't know. So I would be with these stars, or whether it's the first one was Snoop Dogg. Man, shout out to Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg got me in, and that's what really put us on the map. People saw us with Snoop Dogg and saw the tactics actually there. They were like, wow, because there's no way Snoop Dogg's going to be like playing it off, act like you could do a gun in his arm. He's not going to do that. I mean, he'll act on some other stuff and act in some movies, but he's not going to bring you to a studio. And it's supposed to be like 1 hour. We're there 4 hours. Man, he was blown away. He's talking about doing a show with us.
See, but I remember Royce. Same with Royce.
Royce super positive.
I don't know if he posted something, but it was about you.
Yes.
I remember you actually came to the studio, and he had to get back on there like, I did not know this who y'all was talking about this whole time. Because he was like, he know from you doing security, like,
we protected him back in the day, and we didn't come to the club. Because it'd be crazy out there. We have big cliques would come up.
Well, I was at 7 Mile, and once it got to the point to where Greg wanted to stop letting in young people, they had to hire them to go against 7 Mile. And this was the hottest Monday night, period. I'm talking about comedy night. It would be everybody from the hood up in that mug. I'm talking about every gang you can imagine. When I tell you, they locked down the club. I'm talking about on the roof, dogs up front. When I pulled up, it wasn't even nobody in the spot because everybody was like, yeah, I ain't got no ID. They ain't letting me in. Like it was serious.
Yeah.
And
we're the only people that are structured.
And then y'all end up getting into it with the 7 Mile gang. I'm talking about, I'm in there drinking and I'm hearing motherfuckers holler. Like it was for real, for real. And when I tell you,
one time they shot at the vehicle.
They shot the whole club.
Yeah, they shot the vehicle, one of my team members, and then on another time they hospitalized one of the guys.
Yeah, and then y'all came back deeper.
I came back with 50 men.
It was like 50 motherfuckers.
Yes. I brought 50 out. I brought 50 out. I put 10 on the ground, and I put another few in vehicles.
Yep.
And then on the roof I had about 40 men.
So watch this.
With rifles.
And I'm still making them laugh.
This is the craziest story, though. I heard this story from family. You get what I'm saying? That was a part of it. And he told me about the times where y'all actually locked the doors because everybody thought they was hard legs. So now y'all locked the doors. They couldn't get out. And it's like, now everybody want to behave. So we just go there. But on the flip side, I knew some of those guys y'all got into it with. And they came back to the studio. And you know how you expect, his story going to be different. Like, yeah, they was in. We had the flex. They was like, bro, I ain't going back there no more.
Because it's SWAT. It's SWAT.
We trained constantly. So it wasn't, some people thought it was clothes. Oh, look at those clothes. They got some SWAT clothes on or something. And we used to wear just T-shirts at first. And what people don't realize is that this all this was a warning. It's like we trained for 3 hours a day. You might not know nothing day one. But in 1 week, you have trained, we work 7 days a week because the clubs was booming. Every place we went, it just kept growing because when you create safety for the people, and we create safety for everyone, right? What happens is your business grows.
So they feel safe.
So we protected all the women. The women were getting beat at these clubs. I could not believe the females getting beat like this. I couldn't. I was like, no, I had an interview. I was interviewing him. I was like, all right, so how did you know him? And she's beat up, blood everywhere, everything. I'm talking about real beatings. Like you're an MMA fighter. Yeah. These are females that are 100 pounds. The dude's 200-300 pounds. And I'm like, okay, young man, you were hitting the female. What was the situation? Man, you don't know, man. She was wearing my chain. It was my girl a couple years ago. So So you thought you could take the chain back today. So she's wearing a chain 2 years later. You thought you could take it from her by grabbing it from her face, from her throat, and smashing her right there. Like, oh, okay. You sure that's crazy. Well, now it's going to have to happen.
Petty, right?
Yeah, y'all
we petty. That's petty, right?
Y'all still
that's a different argument altogether right there. You see your chain and she stole
2 years later.
But it was petty for her to bring it up now. She knew what she was doing being petty.
Oh, my God.
That's dangerous right there. Because, see, I look at y'all differently because security that you see some of them out of shape, they don't look like they about to stop nothing. Look like you can slide them a 50 to bring the gun.
They usually can. All the biggest guys we had, like my 7-footers, all those guys, especially the veterans, man, guys with names after cities. I'm not going to say any names. But there's certain people that name themselves after cities. Other people name themselves after their height.
Yeah.
They use their height.
6'4".
6'10", 6'27",
6'4",
6'49". All I'm going to say, I'm not going to say any names. I'm just going to say certain people, and they used to be pro ball players, some of them, right? And what happens is they're fine as long as it's fighting between 1 or 2 people. Problem is we fought cliques.
Yeah.
So the cliques on the small side are going to be at least double our number. So if there's 5 of us, it'll be 10 of them. If there's 20 of us, like a River Rock is always 20. So it'll be 40 of them, 60 of them. And that's how the conflicts would happen. If it was even, if it was 20 of us, 20 of them, they would never fight us. Right. It has to be double our number. So they would always come out with mass numbers. And these dudes would have, it'd be the one leader and it's, 30 minions, right? and the minions,
like Bruce Lee movie.
Right, the minions be like, Big D, because everybody got to be named
Now, I got a powerful question. How do you recruit?
I recruited everywhere, man, back in the day. So a lot of my guys came straight out of prison. This was their first real job. They had to shave, they had to take a shower, get a haircut. I paid for those things too. I'll go get them a haircut. I brought in barbers. I brought in, I couldn't do the shower part. They got a shower. You don't shower again. Can't work here. No shower, no work. But yeah, these dudes had they had to shine their boots. I brought in a shoe shiner, shine the boots in case they didn't do it. $10 comes out of their paycheck to shine their boots.
That's crazy.
Wow.
I talked to probation officers. I talked to parole officers back in the day. They actually let them work there.
Yeah.
Because they knew we were strict. No drinking, no smoking, no talking, hitting on females, and none of that stuff. You can't do any of that. So essentially what happens is if you were with us, you were on a definite path towards not going back to prison. Because you are going to be sober. You're going to get paid legally, doing something legal, and you get to be a part of something strong that's positive that helps the community. So we were always helping the community. So I funded this by using the nightclubs. That's where I got the money from, was to grow, was from creating safety specifically for the entire facility, right? We checked everyone, right? But the women were the ones that were most danger. And by keeping the females safe, by issuing behavioral modification to the thug animals, we didn't do beat downs. It was behavioral modification. Yep. So we would cover their head to make sure there's no injury to the face. And then one person gets to apply whatever technique they would like to this person's torso to teach them not to attack women anymore. And it worked. Next thing you know, the women stopped, but maybe it took about a year. And our club was the only club in Detroit where you couldn't hit women, couldn't beat them down for dancing with another guy, breaking up with you before, not giving the correct phone number because they'll check your number.
Petty shit.
Yes.
Here we go.
I mean, that's why I call them thug animals. Because these dudes they're not about the money. They're about causing pain and suffering to others. Right? And there's lots of young men and young ladies who were tortured as kids, who were neglected, and now they're adults, and they're very dangerous. And it doesn't mean they're not smart. Some of them are super smart. I mean, they're super articulate, super intelligent, In fact, they think at twice the speed of a normal person. So that's how they're able to outthink police and regular people.
You talking about females?
Males and females. These are thug animals. These are highly predatory human beings. But it's because they were raised in an environment where they were neglected as children, and now they want revenge.
That trauma.
And it's not about you. You can be nice to them. You can be good to them. You can be a good friend to them. You can be trying to help them with an agency or just to be a family who wants to help a young person. If they're in that mindset, then their brain is in a survival mode. It's all psychology. So it's not about you. You can be nice to them. You buy them things. You help them out.
And that's the shit that scared them off the most, because that's the things that they were supposed to receive from family, and 9 times out of 10 did. But those things were used as batteries to hit that, like.
Well, a lot of them are just totally neglected.
Sometimes the people that love you fuck you up the most mentally,
it's
emotionally.
Wrong. Right, correct. And it's wrong. It's not real love, so it's abusive. So, because if you love someone, you'll protect them, even from themselves. Right? You're not gonna let your kid walk in the street and get hit by a car. You love your child. You love your dog. You're not gonna let your dog run down the street. If you love your car, you're gonna take care of your car. So the key to protection is whatever you love, you'll protect naturally as a human being. Right. We all do that. But no matter what, you're not gonna protect anything you don't love.
See, I feel like
if you're supposed to, they get hired to take care of kids. You don't like kids. If you get hired to take care of dogs, you don't like dogs. You're not gonna be good at the dog humane society or anywhere else with dogs, right? You don't even like them. I don't like spiders, so if you hire me as a spider caretaker, it's not gonna work out. I'll get the money, but I'm not gonna take care of you. I'm not touching the spiders. I'm not breaking up any fights between the spiders. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? So I hate spiders.
Now, have you ever been in a position where you felt like, okay, I'm not in control here?
No, because under all conditions, I believe in positivity.
So you can do LGBT community events and not have a problem?
Oh, we did 2 different gay clubs, and they fought all the time.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
People think the gay people would be like, nice or something. They're the most. They were fighting each other. They didn't fight us though. What was interesting is there'd be a bunch of them fighting. Men rush forward. They would just bake up. They wouldn't actually swing on us or anything. So we had real positive outcomes, and they paid well too. The actual establishment.
I did comedy in one, and it was a big fundraiser. And these girls got into it so bad, and I was like, it was like the stud one got into it with the femme one for talking to one another, the studs.
She touched their backpack, didn't she?
But it was like when they all was fighting, you like, who in the wrong? Because they all girls.
Yeah.
Well, so how do you handle that?
Well, it's funny you said that, because when I first started in the neighborhoods in Detroit, I started on the east side with a place they call Crack Alley. The people who live there said that, there's nothing you could do for these people. It's just these people ain't gonna change. It's a horrible place. It's dystopia. This crime and disease, and it's horrible. And the police won't even show up. And the police were like, "This is Crack Alley. What are you guys doing over here?" I opened my first school there. It's right across from Jeffersonian.
Wow.
Right. Where by the way, we just got rehired. We got hired at Jeffersonian in July because of a murder that happened on the 13th floor in broad daylight, with a big shootout and people killed in the hallway.
In the Jeffersonian.
Jeffersonian. And when I was there,
I'm looking like
I started in 1995. When I started in 1995 on East Jefferson, my first school was at the bottom of the Hibbert Building on East Jefferson. The Jeffersonian was for people that are somebody.
Right.
Like this politicians.
Harlan.
All the
got a whole flow. She took out one condo, rented that boy out, bought the whole hookup. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Now, this take me to the first question. Let's go back. I know it was a story you used to tell, and me and Joey was actually talking about this.
Hold on. Just all right, go ahead. I'm just going to tie in there. There was, when I first started, there was I came in a situation where there was a carjacking victim. I got the deal to be the security for the building, apartment building, and I get called to the scene. A guy was shooting a gun outside of the front of the door. Someone was saying that there's somebody injured in the building. I go in the vestibule. It's about the size of this room, and there's a guy in his 30s, and he's got a gun in his waist, and there's an old man about 80 years old bleeding from the mouth, and right next to him is another 30-year-old man who's like he's protecting the old man. And so I came with my rifle. I said, what's going on? And I look over. I see the guy with the pistol in his pants, and the old man's bleeding, and he's been carjacked by this younger guy. Right? So we already called the police. Before we take action, we call police. We're responding to gunshots, so obviously we'll call police for gunshots. The guy who was shooting the gun, turns out, was actually shooting the gun to get our attention to come over. I lived right across the street, so he was trying to get me to come over. At that time, I had a dog, a rifle, and I had one volunteer from prison that was working with me. That guy was Bravo 1, but he was a good guy, man. He was a martial artist, and he just got out of prison, and he agreed to help me in the community, in exchange for training. Okay. So he's one of my first students. And make a long story short, when I go in there, there's these women off to the side, and I was like, "What are they doing?" They have a 2x4 with nails in it, and they're smashing like Vikings, smashing this door like a battering ram, and there's people screaming on this side. Girls and kids are screaming, and so I can't really hear. So I got my rifle this way, and I'm turning this way. I'm looking at the man that's a carjacker, and over here I hear this screaming, and people screaming inside the room. They're while I'm standing with the rifle, they're still smashing this battering ram against this apartment. The kids are screaming in there. So I come over there. I said, put that down. She was like, don't know, nigga, tell me what to do. I was like, what? I grabbed the 2x4, put it down, stomped it down out of her hands. She was like, what? I was like, what?
Right. Like, hold on, bitch.
2 seconds from getting treated appropriately. And she's like, so then I noticed like it's about 10 of them. First I just saw the 2 is 10 females, half have short hair, and I didn't think about this. I was like, oh, there's just much females standing on. It turns out they're a gang. They're a lesbian gang that attacks women and children in the buildings.
What?
I never heard of such a thing.
Random acts of violence?
Like, what the
They actually target female, single women and their children. So they go attack the children, attack the women. They steal from them. They rape them, all that. In broad daylight, just go
What
in your
building
house.
was this?
1130 Holcomb.
In Detroit.
Wow.
Right on Holcomb. There's 3 buildings.
I do remember a
Holcomb,
story like that about it was a lady gang that was supposed to be tough, but it was all lesbians.
Hey, wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
There's not a exactly, but I thought it was rare. I didn't know it was not. It's not rare. It's just I had no experience seeing.
So we consider them thug animals. Period.
Oh yeah, because they're terrorized. It turns out
that's animalistic.
It turns
as
out
fuck.
the reason why they're going after this, they just smashed these little kids' heads. When I say little kids, I mean, one's like a 3-year-old and one's like maybe 4 or 5, boy and girl.
Like this make me
This
mad.
girl smashed their heads into the door, trying to get the 14-year-old girl to come out, to big sister. Right? She comes out, snatches her baby sister and baby brother, pulls them in there, and into the house, and then smashes the door back, and that's how that's when I came in. Right? So she'd already been attacked.
So you came right in the nick of time.
Right, and now the kids had their heads smashed, and now I just came in the door right after that. So now the kids are in there screaming. Yeah. And so it turns out the reason why they're after this 14-year-old girl, these women, is because the guy who's protecting the old man in the hallway is a guy that is trying to have sex with the 14-year-old girl. And one of the women is his girlfriend. So her lesbian sister has a gang, and they came over to help teach this 14-year-old girl a lesson about having sex with a 30-year-old man. So they're going to beat the 14-year-old girl. Now, I don't know anything else other than that right then, right? And then I see him in the hallway trying to talk to her before I make her go in the house and make him leave, right? 'Cause I see them talking in the stairwell while the mother's at work. And so we stop him like, hey, man, it's not going to happen. You can leave that girl alone. And we make her go home. She's back in her apartment with her brother and sister. And this is where I made a transition from, I thought my position was going to be, I was going to help people learn how to communicate with police, how to communicate the crimes, how to articulate threat properly so that they can be in compliance with law and help police prosecute people that are criminals. That's what I thought my job was going to be, like a liaison. All right, I was a private investigator when I got in the military, and I learned a lot about law by seeing it in courtrooms. And so I thought, man, wouldn't it be great if we had a school that teaches self-defense, teach you how to legally defend yourself, right? First and foremost, what's the law say I can and cannot do? Why am I teaching someone how to punch someone or choke them, but they don't know the law? That's dumb. So I went to all these martial arts schools as a kid, and no one ever taught me the law. Even law enforcement officers I had that were instructors never took time to say, hey, this is when you would legally use force. This is when you would not. This is what you should do, when you should call the police, what you should say, all those kind of things. Never, ever.
It took me a minute, I can say it because I'm happy, I'm reformed. I'm a peaceful person now. But back in my A&B days, they used to say, if I just tell you, like, shut up, I'm going to smack you, that's assault and battery too. Like, just saying shit is assault and battery.
Right.
Like,
outside 8 Mile. But in Detroit, the words like "I'll kill you" is like saying hi. Right. You know, man, I kill you. That's like, okay, bro.
But what do you do?
But if you go over 8 Mile, know this. Even saying words like "I'll kill you" is a crime. Mm-hmm. Imagine inferring.
What about a text?
Huh?
Text message.
Oh, double crime. You just use it. You just use
That's
it.
you just snitched on yourself crime.
But if you're inside 8 Mile, that's nothing. You can. It's all kinds of things you can do.
Oh wow.
It's city limits.
Oh yeah, inside Detroit, you can try to call. I call the police more than anybody in the history of the United States.
Yeah.
I've called 911 more than anyone in the history of this country that's not mentally ill.
Charleston White might got you beat.
I got him beat for sure. Because that's so the reason why you have to call the police guys, just so you know, is because that's how you establish that you are in fact not being a vigilante.
Right.
You are not usurping authority. You are in fact seeking legal assistance. Mm-hmm. Now, after that point, if you have to defend yourself or others, this is called exigent circumstances. If you are doing something of exigency, that means you have to do it, because if you don't, then something bad can happen to someone. Mm-hmm. That means you are not breaking the law. You're defending yourself and the lives of others. Mm-hmm. Now, if you don't do that, you're literally opening the door for prosecution, even though you're the hero.
So call 911 first before you beat somebody else.
Or if you have the time to do it. If someone pulls a gun on you and is about to shoot you, you're not
going to anyway, stop. Hold on, sir. That's illegal. You have a gun pointed at me. Right. I'm going to call 911 right now.
Yeah, that ain't going to
work.
So
how do you stop all these women right now from actually being killed and abused, knowing that this dude has a history of doing what he does? Like that one dude that killed that one lady, that nurse, getting off work in the morning.
That's fucked up.
Years ago, his other baby mama hasn't been found. You know what I mean?
That's because nobody cares. So what I started doing, I thought I was going to be the liaison, and what I found out, that little girl I was telling you about, the 14-year-old girl, she got attacked. Okay, so in that same story, part 3 of that story, I wrote a book, and it's these chapters. These are some of the chapters. But the sergeant comes in and tells me off, basically. You can't be out here with these rifles. You can't be doing this. I was like, absolutely, I can, according to you, Lieutenant. And he was like, oh, okay. And then he still kept yelling at me. Like, he was saying, you stop doing that. You need to stop doing this. I was like, oh, that's absolutely not going to happen. I'm not going to stop helping the people survive. I'm literally not going to do that.
Especially when it's
So what I do need, I need your help, though. I said the sergeant, he was an older guy, too. And I remember thinking, like, man, I can see it like a young cop. But you're an older cop. You've seen dead kids out here. You've seen dead people. Why are you not helping me help the family? You don't want to sit in these hood hallways all night at 3 o'clock in the morning, a crack-infested place where families are suffering. You don't want to sit out here. I'm in the hallway with my rifle. Me. By myself with my dog, my pit bull, German Shepherd mix that won't hurt anybody, but it looks scary. I want to lick everybody to death, but he looked like he wanted to jump on everybody. I caught a carjacker with him one time. Carjacker tried to get away. I ran up on him. He's like, "Don't let the dog go." I was like, "Don't make me. Don't make me.
Don't make me."
My dog trying to lick him to death.
Meanwhile,
the pit bull, German Shepherd. His ears were clipped. He was brindle. He looked awesome, like a miniature oppressive canario. I couldn't afford nothing, so I had to take this free dog. And,
so you got into it with the cops.
Oh, the cop told me
securing people.
The cop told me he was going to come to my house. He said, if I hear about you coming over here in the neighborhood and interfering, then I'm going to come to your house, kick in your door, and take all your guns.
Wow. To me, that sounds like somebody that get paid to let shit go on.
No, for real. I mean, we are in Detroit. You know.
No, so here's the thing, guys.
Shit goes.
Number one thing you got to remember is police are people, right? And they have friends and family that are people. Mm-hmm. They're not like another race of humans. They're people.
Right.
So if they grew up in Detroit like this guy did, this sergeant is from the hood. His people live in the hood.
That's terrible.
I am stopping his family from doing something. I find that out later. It turns out this sergeant, but to give the other side of the story, this sergeant became cool. We became cool later. Okay. Because what is consistency? When they saw that I'm not going to back down 100%, I'm devoted to the family safety. There's no money. I'm not making nothing. I made a deal for $2,000 a month for 10 buildings, 24 hours a day. Right? And I got a free apartment in each building to get volunteers apartments, and that's all I had. So
I love that. Love
that's showing.
And then I got another one of the owners of buildings to buy Nextel radios, so we could push a button and talk to everybody at the same time.
Yeah.
And I got volunteers from the hood and got them free apartments, and I trained them in exchange. I didn't have any money, so we did the best we could, and I motivated them to just protect their building. We would all come. There was nice apartments too for people that are like in their lower 20s. Yeah, $750 a month, and now $0. Yeah, and no bills. And then I got Rent-A-Center to make a deal. Once we started doing nightclubs, first thing we did was a grocery store, because they had people like in the movies. They just word up on these old ladies and take their food stamps. Back when they had food stamps, they would attack them in broad daylight, beat them up, take the food stamps, and these are young thugs, man, and they are able-bodied. So you have to have men of fighting age that have training if you want them to be consistently able to stop them. Mm-hmm. And one of my guys, Terry Horn, Icon One is his code name. Good guy. He grew up in Ann Arbor too. And it was funny. He's a martial artist, and he's real thin, real skinny. And the Chaldean owner of the store was like, "Hey, the guy is too small. I don't like him. He's too little. I don't want you to bring him here. Don't have him come here." Right? I was like, he's like the best guy. I grew up with him. He's a good guy. Man, he said, he sees this guy grabbing this old lady. He's pulling her food stamps away. He's punching them out. Our guy goes out there, puts our technique on him. Guy drops immediately. He's unconscious. With just one move. It's called the X choke. He just came up behind him, just like that. He just, and then fell to the ground. And then the client was like, "Okay, I like this guy. He can stay. He's very good. I like this guy. He's very good."
Now you called it the what?
The X choke.
So this comes from what form of martial arts?
So I blended them together, and then River Rock gave me a chance to test the techniques for different martial arts. So I want to say a shout out to all the thug animals out there. Appreciate your help. 7 Mile Dogs, Cheddar Boys, wherever they were, Skrilla Boys. You have different cliques have different names. PAs, everybody was helping. Everybody did their part to volunteer to come try to kill us to help us learn. So I want to say thank you. Yeah, so I went to, as a kid, I went to a lot of different martial arts schools, right? And then as an adult as well. So I would train at different schools. As an adult, I would train at different schools every day of the week. And what I did was I realized that all martial arts has something good to offer. Every system from every ethnic group, because that's what they really are. Most training systems are a form of ethnic exchange. They really want you they're esoteric in nature, so they have education that's based on their culture, and they want to inundate you in their culture, right? No matter what it is, Indonesian, Korean, Japanese, and if that's fine. That's not what I wanted. What I wanted, and I appreciate it, like separately, right? But what I wanted was, if I go somewhere, I want to be able to travel freely and not get attacked by rednecks or thugs, right? And have to work and earn and have to work hard for my freedom. I want it to be easier, right? So I was getting attacked when I was younger for having a good hair, looking like Prince. And then
he was Becky with the good hair before Becky with the good hair.
Yeah, man. I was getting attacked by everybody though. I got attacked by every ethnic group. So I had to fight everybody. My sister, who's a doctor now, is an adult, but she thought her job was to recruit fights. So my little sister would go around, little kids be like, "My brother will be in a minute. He'll beat you up." I don't know the kids. We're just going.
What you don't know is she was collecting bets on the side, like $5, $2, $3, $5 on my brother.
She was not that smart. She's like, she's just like, "Dale, fight him, beat him up." I was like, "What? I want to make friends, man." My sister was
like your Michael Jai White style.
Yeah,
it's immediately.
Yeah, well, you know what's funny? Michael Jai White is one of my heroes, and he's.
Have you met him?
No, I haven't. I want to one day. But he studies one of my favorite martial arts, the one that I think is the one that influenced me the most, which is Kyokushinkai. And this is a system that is Japanese. It's uses economy of motion, and they believe in aikinesatsu, which is to kill with one blow. Yeah. So they use they don't jump around a lot. They don't move much. And then when they do move, it's extreme power, right? And I liked it because it matched my way of defending myself, right, and others. And I think it was a great system. I really do to this day. But so I use a lot of that, but I use a lot of other systems as well, because the goal is to be able to dominate a threat without leaving evidence for you to be prosecuted with and sued with. So you learn that later, right? Once you stop the television stuff. Once you realize in real life in America, you'd rather get beat up and go home than win the fight and go to prison. Right. And right now, there's good people that were defending themselves, defending others, but it got re-articulated by either the officers that arrived or the witnesses, and next thing you know, they're prosecuted. And these are heroes. These are people that defended themselves and others successfully, defended their kids, defended their, I don't know if you heard the story, there was a mom took a knife and stabbed some kids on the way to King High School. She was the worst mom ever. They took her kids for a daughter from her, put her in prison. Well, yeah, that sounds bad, but if you understood what she dealt with, because we protect people for free. We protect women, children, families, entire families, gay men, straight men, anybody who has someone trying to kill them. The prosecutor's office sends people to us from different communities, not just Detroit, domestic violence victims, crime witnesses, things I thought police did, and maybe they do if you're like El Chapo, but if you're just regular people, you do not have protection.
Her daughter was getting beat up, right?
Her daughter's being attacked because she's pretty. They're always beating up the pretty girls.
With the pretty ones.
Yep, cutting their faces. They cut pretty girls' faces. That's a thing they do. After they've been stomping them, beating them down, boys and girls. And in this case, the mother went to the police. She went to the principal. She went to the school resource officer. She did everything she's supposed to do as a mother.
And they did nothing.
Nothing. So she walked to school to take her daughter. Now, how many parents? My parents are going to do that. My parents are never going to walk me to school. I was like, they're going to work. Okay, they'll be like, well, good luck. You better make it.
Right.
And you better not be late to school. So she's going to school, and that girl goes to school, gets attacked all the time, and they're trying to cut her face. So they bring knives, these girls. So if you don't understand the context, that this is not where you're from, majority of America. So you can't use that mentality here. These kids had no protection growing up. They were abused at home. They were abused outside the home. There's no protection. I'm from Ann Arbor. We have protection there. The police come, somebody's going to jail if they did something illegal.
ASAP.
And you might go to jail if you didn't do nothing illegal. But somebody's going to jail.
Right.
Okay? They don't have that here in Detroit. It doesn't exist. That's not a thing, all right? So you could be in danger. You be at the bus stop, and there's no one coming to save you. It's just you, your friends, your cousins, and that's why pretty girls date really ugly guys who have a lot of thug friends or cousins. You'll find some really pretty girls with some atrocious, dirty-looking dudes. But those dudes will kill for her. And that's what she needs. Somebody will kill for her, her sisters, her mom. And that's wrong. That's terrible.
Adaption.
She should not have to date some horrible dude just because he can protect her. We should be providing protection for all of our citizens, right? And so instead of complaining that police weren't doing that, I created an organization to do it. So my form of protest is protection. So I created a protection as a form of protest to show you can do this. It can be done. So you don't have to say, well, this is a horrible area. This place is at risk. What it's at risk for is a lack of protection. And all you got to do is love people. And we protected everyone. So European American gay guy was getting on a bus, and these cult members of a certain cult, a certain percentage of Islam is involved. And these 30 dudes are chasing him from this cult of a percentage of Islam. Not Islamic, but somewhat. With a percentage involved. They run after this guy, 30 of them, come to our door. the gay guy comes into our school and says, please help me, they're after me. I look outside, there's 30 dudes from this cult. And I said, what are you guys doing? They're like, send out the gay dude. We send out the gay white dude. Send him out here right now. I said, man, let me tell you something. You guys got about 0 seconds to get away from my school. We're going to come out here and bleed all of you. Period. Right here on East Jefferson. They were like, man, you lucky, man. You lucky, man.
Or are you lucky?
And they took off, right? But they were thinking, I was like, what are you thinking? You just came to my school like a movie, like the karate school movie. The dude came to my school like that. This is unbelievable. I walked outside. He can't be real. It's 30 dudes out there. They were literally going to attack him because he's waiting for the bus. Just because he's European American and or gay is either one. I mean, they attack everybody though. There was a African American couple. They heard that Muslims will help you, right? So they were at the bus stop, broad daylight again. So they thought these people that are a percentage and say they're Islamic, right? But they're not. They say it. And the billboard says crescent and a moon, but there's a percentage involved. But apparently they don't have the same values. So they were told that if you go to Muslims, this couple was told if you go to Muslims and ask them for help, they'll help you. So the young man goes in there. His wife's his wife is next to him. They're like 20 years old, and he says, "I don't get paid till Friday. I need money for the bus to take my wife to the hospital. She has to get the baby checked or whatever. Can you guys loan me some money to get on the bus, and then I will pay you back on Friday? And they said, what? And they chased him outside, beat him and the girl in broad daylight, stomped on his head, put his head on the curb and stomped on his head. Now, mind you, my school is about 50 yards from this is where this is happening. And I'm just not there at that time. I'm doing some other thing somewhere. But if I'd have been there, I'd have came out and we'd have stopped all that. And I was there in other situations with the same group, and I did stop them from attacking kids from the neighborhood. Now, that's not what they say they do. They say they do other things that are, not necessarily moral, but they don't say they go around attacking kids. This particular group was doing that. I'm not saying all of them do, because I know some that are from that group that don't do that, okay? That do have morals. This one does not. And they also never made a mistake and made us have to hurt them either. One of the first things I did when I first saw them was I went to them and I said, hey, I'm just opening a school, and let me show you some of our tactics. So we spent like about an hour doing my 120. So I do 120 tactics in 60 minutes. And all they know is pain, right? Gun disarm, knife disarm. It's like try to cut me, try to shoot me, right? And at the end, they're like, man, that's awesome. I should do that training. I should do that, man. When I feel better, I should do that training.
When I feel better.
Right, right, man, I'm going to do that. We're going to do the training. I was like, yeah, you guys should come by and help us protect the community. And us, when I said us, it was me and a dog, a rifle. And they were like, yeah, we're going to help you, though. We're going to help you. And what I will say is, by doing those demos with dudes on the street, it made it so we didn't have problems later. Yeah. They're like, we just have no problems.
I remember when we did a demo, we was at a graduation party.
Yeah.
And you like, I'm going to show you how to stop a gun. So I'm like, yeah, whatever. And in my head the whole time, now I can be real with you. I'm thinking, man, he don't know I hit this weight just before I came. Like, so I got the gun. I'm going like this. He got one finger on it going like this. I'm like, hold on. Like, am I in my head right now? So then he showed me another one. He said, bring it at me fast. I bring it as fast. And I'm clicking. I'm like, then my wife like, he's stopping the slide.
You took it out of battery.
And I'm like this. I'm like, it just hit me. I was like, dang. After that, I had to throw my hands up. I surrender. So, but it was a time. It was a story you was telling. Like, I'll go back to me and Joey was talking about earlier about the Bill Lau situation.
So what I read, I want to know if you can give us the legitimacy of this. Yeah. I read that in 1994, an incident happened on Belle Isle with it had to do with a female and her children, I think it was, and there was onlookers that had no idea what was going on, and she got gunned down. And what I read said that's when you said, I have to figure out how to stop this, or I need to figure out how to be smart.
That was 95, and what she was doing was she's with her daughter on Belle Isle Bridge. Do you remember the story? Yeah. She was trapped on there. And what I remember about it was I was out there. I just remember the story because it was on CNN, and they were playing in high rotation. And they were like, look how dangerous Detroit is. They kill their women on the bridge and cheer. And I was like, there's no way you're going to get 50 random. Remember, you get stuck on Belle Isle Bridge. So we don't know this. Before the state took over, if you went on the Belle Isle Bridge on a weekend, you could get stuck. Like the traffic does not move for hours. They just sit there and have a party in place with house speakers in the back of the car. Because back then they have really like advanced, and they had Suzuki Samurais, very embarrassing. The dope boys back then apparently didn't have much money, or they put all the money into Suzuki Samurais, which is also embarrassing. And then they'll put house speakers in there. Now I'm not saying the house speakers were hooked up like mine, because I had house speakers in mine too, but mine were little. They had these giant ones, but they were professionally installed. Remember that? That time period?
I ain't gonna lie to you. We was all in the Regals, Cuddys, and Cadillacs. If they had a Suzuki Samurai,
you know what I'm talking about.
It was like
with their name on gold on the side.
Fam.
You different.
It was really different. Because I never liked something that looked cute.
Weak. It's so weak. Boss. And these dudes out there were so hard with those cars. But anyway, long story short, she's on the bridge, and the news media said that they're cheering, kill that bitch or whatever like that, and saying they're cheering her death, right? And I was like, there's no way you would get a bunch of people from our community to do that. Right? That's what I said.
Well,
true.
I'm 100%. I'm going to tell you, I'm 200% sure now because I was there now. We stopped a lot of these situations, males and females, but mostly females, being attacked by girls or guys. Then the others it's called group individuation. So all people will come do things that would not normally do. Like you hear stories of girls getting sexually assaulted by multiple men, like on a team or something. Same thing. So what happens is you have group think. So the group is cheering, so you start cheering, even though you would normally never do that, right? And I would never do it, period. But most people do what the crowd is doing.
Fact.
You know, like your U of M, they stand up in the football team like that. I don't do that.
The wave?
Yeah, you do the wave. You do whatever people are doing.
This goes back to Rome, though.
Yes, it goes back to human psychology. It's human psychology. So it's human psychology. It's not ethnopsychology. It's not that.
Finish that.
Yeah. So make a long story short. That's the thing that people need to understand. It's not about Detroit. Okay. It's really about humanity and lack of humanity in all people, because all people did this. There used to be lynchings with thousands of people there, and these are good Christian folk that will watch someone be gang raped, burned alive, everything. So the group watching horrible things is normal. We just don't teach about it. So I come from Ann Arbor. We were not educated in many things, right? So I was totally shocked. I was like, it's impossible. Why would a group do that? Why would anyone do that, right? So inhumane. Man, that's totally normal. And so make a long story short, these guys who had two-parent households went to the main guy, really big guy, was a football player, was going to go to University of Michigan on a scholarship. They thought he was going to become a pro football player. Mm-hmm. He went to St. Martin de Porres. He had a two-parent household, and he had a brand new Mustang. So the first thing they tried to say was she hit the car, and then he got mad, so he got out the car. That's not what happened. He knew her, and she was out of his league. He was feeling like she should, and some dudes like this. They're like, I feel like you should be mine, so I will take you. So him and his boys were going to go take her in front of her daughter, physically. So she got in her car and ran away and left her dog even. That's how she had to scurry away from these guys, get away from them. Then she got trapped in traffic.
Damn.
And that's when they got her, and they took a crowbar, and now that you have internet, you have people sharing their stories. That's how I found out about the crowbar, because that's not in the original media story. Okay. So they crowbarred the door open in front of all these people, and then they stripped her clothes off of her right in front of everybody as they're cheering, and then she jumped off the bridge to save herself from being sexually assaulted in front of all these people and in front of her daughter.
What happened to her daughter?
She's in the car.
Services.
Yeah.
Family.
She did not try to kill herself. She's trying to escape.
You know what I'm saying? But she ended up dying.
She tried to, yep, and she was in the water. And what's really sad and also tragic and very telling was two young men on that bridge jumped off that bridge to save her immediately. Now, they weren't confident enough. They were like regular-sized people. These dudes are big. These three dudes like, 250, 300 pounds. Right. And these guys that jumped in the river after her are like swimmers that had weed cases, apparently. They had either smoked weed or sold weed at some point, and it's some kind of low-grade weed cases they had. So when they went in the water, she thought that these guys were the bad guys, so she pushed herself away underwater and died under there.
Damn.
And these guys were in the water trying to get her out.
So what happened to them thugs that did it?
So the guys, this is the most amazing part, because heroes are in every city. Mm-hmm. And what you get in the news media is called senseless violence. So when heroes rescue themselves or rescue others, it's always called senseless violence. You ever notice that? Mm-hmm. In no city have you ever had sensible violence.
Right.
Mm-hmm. No sensible violence. Like you go to the gas station, and then there's bad people there, and you're bad because you're bad because you're there. Everybody in the city is bad. Mm-hmm. Chicago, New York, LA, we're all bad people. So when you get to the gas station and you have to defend your life or the lives of others, you're about to do something bad, which is called senseless violence because it's unsensible for you to defend your life or lives of others. You're supposed to just die, apparently, so you can not be a bad person. So if you fight back, you're automatically bad. So remember when you watch a media that you are being tricknologed, okay? Using technology on you.
Brainwashed.
So don't allow any of that. Never listen to any story they tell you about anything. Do your own research. So some part of that's true, but it's very shallow. It's just surface, right? Mm-hmm. So they'd rather tell you somebody had weed in their pocket, and then there's a shootout. And then they'll say, oh, look, they were having a weed deal. Mm. There's a joint in the pocket. That's not a weed deal.
Right.
But that sounds better and sexier than he's fighting over his girl. Mm-hmm. She left him. And
what happened, though?
Right. So in this case, the dudes went to prison, right? They got life in prison.
All three?
Good.
The criminals, yeah. And the guys that were the heroes were on the news the next day. Channel 4 is giving them awards for being heroes. Okay. And as they were announcing them, saying what they did, the guys are standing there, and the police come out and put them in handcuffs.
Weed cases.
Because they had some weed cases.
What?
That's terrible.
Right, live on the air. Lie, you couldn't even wait till he's off the air. Like,
right.
It's more important that you see him get arrested than these two young men. And you guys ever been to Belle Isle Bridge? Yeah, I want you to try to find out. I actually did this. I wanted to find a place where I could jump off, right? Obviously not die. The point was to show, like you could do it, right? And I'm a swimmer. I'm a lifeguard swim instructor. I have a boat. And I've been over that bridge for 30 years. Mm-hmm. And I was gonna do it for the internet too, so my plan was to do it, jump on my boat. The grill. Man, there's no place I feel safe jumping off that bridge. Not one place. I jumped out of airplanes, helicopters, and I still don't feel there's any place on that bridge where I feel safe to jump off.
That just shows how terrified
they're superheroes, man. They are superheroes.
It's not even like you thinking about it. They thinking about saving somebody.
Right. Yeah, you still have a superhero. Exactly.
You just really don't have nothing but seconds to think.
And those dudes were superheroes. Only superheroes can do that. Yeah. Selflessness and overcoming heights
and then that same
swimming. That's amazing.
Speaking of superheroes, I said this too. I was thinking this today. I got to get with you. We doing a comic book. I don't care what nobody say, because the legacy that you develop, you leaving, and that people are seeing, like, we need to see things that's positive like this in our type of comic books. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like a Black Batman. You know what I'm saying? But you really doing it for the community, and you got the skill set.
Brown Batman.
Brown Batman. Commander Brown. We got to figure out the name of this comic book, y'all, when we done. But you get what I'm saying?
Hey, that was part 1. But part 2, something crazy.